Alright everybody, we got another sandstall match going on. This one versus a guy who needs no introduction. Anyway, so he's got a hippopotas, and I know that hippopotas's purpose, if not hippowdon, is sand and rocks, and that's pretty much his purpose. So I'm going to set up taunt, so at least he only gets up his sand and no rocks. And based on the way the last two videos have went, I am going to get up 2 layers of toxic spikes. I don't care. So thanks for the practice, guys. I had 5 hours of it, but here we go. So I know if he's like me, he's going to predict a switch and go for something else. It's hilarious that I didn't think he would also be like me and use Confuse Ray. I thought I was the only one dumb enough to do that. But I guess somebody else does, so maybe it's not so dumb after all. Who knows? I stay in, go for it. I break the confusion hacks in a way. I get up my second layer of T-spikes, and cool. So I go out to my melodic just like I did against NBZ, I believe, in case he wanted to go to a spinner or heel beller or something like that. And, whatever. He went for a toxic, and that's cool. Melodic has Marvel Scale, so it gives me a defense boost. I do have aromatherapy on here. And for the first 1 or 2 turns or so, toxic isn't really that big of a deal. After that, it starts to become a significant factor. So, considering she can heal and I have all the other crap up, I can handle that for now. I'll get rid of it later, and I'll just take the minor defense boost for the moment. So, I kind of predict a switch, kind of just stay in to show him, like, hey, lol, see, I do this too. But considering how much I do use Confuse Ray, I think HP Electric is just hands down better by this point, now that I've used it enough, and I've wished I had an electric move for bulky waters enough, especially when my melodic is offensive. His is most likely defensive, mine is not. So the extra type attack would certainly be helpful. I don't think, obviously, it wouldn't have hurt his melodic that much if I used HP Electric, but I think now it's just the better move, which is ironic because he just used Confuse Ray on me again. I am going to go for HP Grass, thinking his Hippo might come back in trying to set up some Stealth Rock. So I'm going to go for that. I should be able to do some significant damage to it. But there we go. I just knock on Confuse Ray for not being good enough, and bam, I'm confused, so I don't get off the HP Grass. And I've got to go for it again. I break through it this time, but unfortunately he's going to survive at less than 10% health. And that Confuse Hacks is going to allow him to get up Stealth Rock. So that really sucks, but at the same time, that's why Confuse Ray is there. So I can't really call hacks on that one. That's the purpose it had. 50% chance, and that's why it's there. So it did its job just exactly as it's going to. So I believe I try and set up a sub, because I know Toxic is going to kill the thing. I snap out, and I do get my sub up, so that works really well, and comes a Heatran. And initially, I'm believing this thing is going to be Scarf, because Sandstall teams are usually a little bit slower, a little bit more defensive, but you need something out there to deal some power and, get some KOs with. So I'm thinking it's probably Scarf. So I think I just go for a T-Bolt on the first one right off the bat, considering everything that I've seen. He does bring in this thing, which who cares, Poison's just going to kill it, so he uses that as fodder. But it did its job. It got up Sand, it got up Stealth Rock, and it got up a turn of fodder. So it, as weird as that may seem, that did everything it was supposed to do. So great job for his NFE on that part. So he's thinking a little bit about what to bring into me at this point. And he brings in a Gligar, so I know he's going to expect HP Ice and switch. Therefore, T-Bolt is a very, very good move. But I go for the hidden power just because I want him to see that I went for it and therefore think it's still ice when it's not, it's grass. But at least now he's thinking, crap, it is ice, blah, blah, how am I going to get around that, etc., etc. I switch moves to T-Bolt here because I know he's not going to go back to Gligar to take it. I suppose he could in theory. I think Gold did that. I don't know, one of these sand guys that I was fighting did that. And I was like, really? You're just going to switch all over left and right? I don't have Stealth Rock up. I only got the Toxic. But Miltank was probably his Heal Beller that I was afraid of. But considering it came in against a sub with Zapdos, he had to get rid of that sub probably a little bit more than he had to get rid of T-Spikes. So he went for the S-Toss and used it as fodder in that regard. After the T-Bolt, it was too weak to leave and try and come back. So definitely a tough spot for him to have been in. But I definitely understand his position, and I agree with his move in that regard. So I switched there, which I mean, obviously in hindsight I shouldn't have done, but I didn't want to take, something nasty. I figured Koopasaur should be pretty good with it. It'll probably get to it KO'd if it's Fire Blast, but I didn't care too much. I wanted to see if I could get some Stealth Rock up in the end as well, which would be really nice if I could. He ends up setting up a sub, so that sucks in the fact that he's got sub. It's good in the fact that now I know Zapdos will be faster, so I do break it with Super Fang, and I try and taunt him so he doesn't keep subbing up, or try and, do something else if he wanted to go for a Magma Storm first. And he ends up switching in Gligar, and I get a taunt on that. I'm just like, ha! Take that, get some. That worked out really well for me. So I could put up Stealth Rock on that turn, but I wanted to be quicker and stay on the initiative with offense, and he ends up having to struggle. So I'm like, wait, what? So the dude has no attacking moves whatsoever. So I know I've got Taunt, which will be really good against him, and although he probably has a Taunt of his own. And I've got Zapdos with a Substitute, which will obviously completely wall anything he wants to do. Which at this point in time, I hadn't yet thought about that. I was thinking Stealth Rock, Roost, Taunt, and it didn't really cross my mind as to why that's not going to be good. But whatever. So I bring in Dose as obvious, and I want to heal up, get some HP, because that's how things roll. He's certainly not going to be able to take me out. He will break a sub, certainly won't be able to take me out, but he's toxic, so he can't stay in there all day himself, and after a couple of turns, he's going to have to head out. I was thinking he would stay in for one more turn, though. I was wrong in that regard. In comes this thing again, which I just put up a sub on immediately, so he can't taunt me or do anything to me in that regard if it's toxic he's got on his set. And he sets up Rock Polish, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's what you're doing. So he's going to have Rock Polish. He just shows Substitute now, to which I go for Hidden Power and miss because of Sand Veil, so he still doesn't know what type it is. Let's see here. He's going to obviously have Baton Pass if he's got Rock Polish, and that's going to leave Roost as his fourth move. So I know his full set. Ironically, he Roosted here, negates the Flying type, making him ground only, so he sees super effective, so he still thinks it's Ice at this point, and I'm just like, ugh! So it's just really frustrating. He puts up another sub, and I take this turn to Roost, hoping that he wanted to switch and not take an HP Ice, but it didn't happen that way. He ended up just setting up a sub, trying to get either another miss or some more information. And I don't remember what did he Rock Polish? He must have. I don't know. I just missed the series of events of how it played out. Yeah, I don't actually know what just happened right there. Maybe that was his first Rock Polish. I think that was his second one. Anyway, Hidden Power. I break his sub with Grass. He now knows it's Grass, so the gig is up. But whatever. I know I've got a couple of dudes who can take care of him. I know he has a Heatran, a Melodic, this thing, and I don't know his fourth. And here I throw the game away. Right in the middle of a sentence, I throw the game away. I knew obviously he was Sand Veil, so I'm like, hey, this would be really funny. I felt so confident and secure in my position. I thought it would be hilarious to make him Baton Pass and Intimidate. And I threw away a Zapdos with a sub. And then I'm like, this was dumb. Let me go over to Nidoqueen and try and taunt him. Yeah, because that would work, because he's faster with Baton Pass. So now he just passed -1 + 4, or was it +2? -1 + 2, I think, and a sub to Sizer. I'm like, well, that's great. So I taunt Sizer because I don't want him to get up Swords Dances. I know obviously he's going to get 1. So now he's +1 + 2 with a sub. I'm just like, this was dumb. I had a Zapdos with the sub up. I would have been, oh my god. So I just decided that I wanted to have fun as opposed to, play the game and win instead. So this just spirals down in a whole network of bad. And I'm getting Bullet Punched in the face. Super Fang misses, so my priority isn't even going to be very helpful in this regard. It's just all kinds of bad. And then I make another dumb choice scenario situation. I don't know. I make another really dumb play. And I'm like, well, I want to save Nidoqueen because I've got Taunt and blah, blah, blah. So I go over here to get Intimidate on him. I take a bunch of damage. He still Bullet Punches me. And he's now back to normal level, 0 stage attack. And I'm like, well, that was dumb. I need to save this guy for Heatran because I'm Scarfed. And I need to be able to Earthquake him. So I switch back to Nidoqueen, which I knew when I had Nidoqueen I could still survive one more Bullet Punch and go for another Super Fang. And so now I waste that extra turn of being able to take the hit, and now I'll die in a bullet punch before I do anything else. But I did see that his taunt wore off, so I go for another taunt. But now he's +2/+2 at full HP. I'm just like, how did this happen? I had Zapdos with a sub, and he would have had a +2 Sizer with a sub, probably taking HP Grass considering the turn it was in. But instead, he goes from having a +0/+2 Sizer with sub to having a +2/+2 Sizer at full HP, and I lost essentially 3 pokes for it. I get to pull off my Chopal counter because I knew he was going to go for it because he had his swords. He didn't know I had Chopal at all, so I knew he was going to go for it, even though it was obviously predicted. But Blissey is now dead. She's got 45 hit points. She's going to bite it. Tauros is now essentially dead. He's in red health with Stealth Rock and Sand up there. And then my Nidoqueen actually died here. Okay, now Blissey actually dies. So I had Zapdos with sub against what would have been a +0/+2 Sizer with sub. And instead, I lose 3 guys for that Sizer because I wanted to switch out having fun passing the Intimidate. That was just absolutely retarded. I don't know what I was doing. I felt that safe. So whatever. Here we are. I can't do anything about that now. I just have to do something about what I have in front of me at this point. So, went for T-Bolt. That did like 30%, maybe. 25 to... Yeah, it did like 25 to 37, somewhere in there. I'm like, wow, that's a beast. So, I know he still can't stay in there all day, however. So I'm going to set up a sub, see if I can nail it, see if he just wants to stay in and surf. Then I can roost the next turn. Toxic will build up. Gligar comes back. He knows HP Ice is now out of the gig, so I just have to sit in here and HP Grass all day. Maybe get a crit. Eventually he'll have to roost, and then it would be super effective. So that might not even be a good move for him to roost, but I've just got to keep the pressure up here. He Baton passes out immediately, and I need some health, which isn't good. So Sizer, Heat Train comes in, takes like nothing from the HP Grass, and now it's got a Rock Polish, so I know it's going to be faster, and I know I can't roost before it can hit me now either. So I have to take this turn here to roost, otherwise Zapdos is dead once sub is gone. So I have to roost up here as much as I don't want to, because I know that I need to get a hit off on that thing if I want Vacuum Wave to kill it. Which obviously is still not a very good solution to the end of my problems, because he can just switch unpredicted Vacuum Wave. So it's a mess now. Like I'm in serious mess because of all that garbage. So I believe I go for the Roost. Yeah, I go for Roost. He puts up sub, which makes sense, I suppose. Getting up a sub, seeing if he can survive a T-Bolt, something like that. But now I've got to kill it. So T-Bolt's coming. He protects. I'm like, well, I guess that gets him lefties. It's not going to stall me out because I've got pressure, so I know that. He goes for the double protect, which seems a little weird to me. I would have taken the chance to go for a hit as opposed to maybe losing his sub for nothing. But he ended up getting his double protect, so it ends up making him look like a genius. It worked, so why not? You can't knock it if it worked. My T-Bolt does break his sub, however, which is why I think the risk for it wasn't really worth it, so he could get 6% of leftovers, but whatever. And then I lose my sub and I get Toxic. I'm just like, no, are you serious? My Blissey's now gone. I got Toxic on my dose. I do get Parahacks, however, which is really helpful. So now he needs to pass 4 Rock Polishes to the thing, which he wouldn't even be able to do, because once he gets up 3 Rock Polishes, his Gligar speed will be maxed out, and it won't let him get a 4th. So I no longer have to worry about that thing being fast at all. I know Blaziken's going to be faster than it, and so I'm good to go. Unfortunately, I bring in Minotaur, take Stealth Rock, take Sand, and then he's got Protect. So I was like, not only was that a really, really, really risky time to bring him in, but it was also kind of dumb because he's got Protect. I guess at the same time, because of Protect, I can't expect to have gotten anything out of it. I can't do anything about Stealth Rock or Sand. So while it seems really dumb, I guess in hindsight, there's nothing else I could have done about it unless he got Parahaxed on the Protect. So Blaziken comes in. I try and finish it off with a Superpower. Wouldn't have done a whole lot to Gligar. It ended up missing anyway, so no big deal. And I know he can't hurt me with an attack move, so he feels safe, and I just switch out to Overheat. So I guess missing or superpower now ends up being beneficial because I could theoretically go for it now or go for a T-punch, but he's got Marvel Scale. I don't know if I'm faster. I just think I would be faster. I'm not going to risk it because now all he has is this Melodic and a paralyzed Heatran. So I think I'm going to be okay somehow in the end anyway. I do obviously have a Toxic Melodic of my own, so both of them are Toxic. They cancel each other out. I do have this Zapdos still a little bit. He throws up a Confuse Ray, which I'm like, oh, this is actually probably a really bad situation to get confused in, because I need to roost up equally as much as I need to T-Bolt him in his face. I think I need to roost a little bit more, but I get confused. I'm like, crap. He was playing defensive as opposed to offensive, though. If he surfed me right there, I don't know if I would have lost Zapdos or not. It would have been very interesting. Yeah, 125. I mean, that's... I know he did over a round or over 100 earlier with Surf, so I don't know if I would have lost there if he wanted to play offensive, but he chose defense. He does switch that second time because by then Toxic is building up. He would have lost Melodic, which he can't have afforded to do. And I was playing defense myself before offense, so I get my roost. Despite having 2 Toxic walls, his Magma Storm misses again. He's at 50% with Magma Storm, so that's not cool. Despite the move being awesome, it definitely does not have a good accuracy. So both my walls are Toxic, but at least I can switch out and they can both recover, so I can sort of cancel that turn of Toxic build-up here. I knew he would switch, so I get the turn to recover. And here it's pretty much just a stall. I mean, I can't go to Blaziken. I don't want to go to Zapdos, especially not yet until I have to. So I put Confuse Ray on him because it's really the best thing I can do. Maybe I can give him a turn of not being able to recover or Confuse Ray himself. I know he doesn't have Ice Beam because he's got Confuse Ray and Toxic, I think. Ah, there we go. Frog in my throat every video. I go to Zapdos now, though, because he's confused. I know he's not going to set up another Confuse Ray. So I figured I had probably the best shot I'm going to have to survive. Sitting at 126 HP after all the garbage goes down. How did I gain 1 hit point? I don't know. I think I just gained 1 hit point, though. Anyway, I throw a T-Bolt out there first, which I must have felt that I could KO it or something. I'm surprised I didn't roost, actually. I'm really surprised. I roost now, which is too late. I should have roosted last turn. He goes for Magma Storm, hits me this time. I do survive it, but after Sand and Toxic and being trapped in the Vortex, it does take me out. I'm like, oh, crap. I should have roosted earlier. Maybe double roost. I don't think I would have double roosted. No, there's no way in heck I would have done that, but that stunk big time. So as much as I love sub-roost stall Zapdos' speed, if it had more invested in its defenses, it could keep the sub that it sets up a lot more often, and then I wouldn't die from, powerful stab attacks either. So that's certainly something to consider for the future, because there's a lot of walls that their stab move will do 100 points to me, and I make like a, 78 point sub or something like that. So it's like, oh, I know I could invest in enough to take care of it. But Blaziken's able to come in pretty much unabated. Superpower at that point would probably take out either one of his guys. If not take out Melodic, then I would just Vacuum Wave at that point, and that probably would finish it off as well. I just switch out to Melodic here, though, because I want to make sure I keep Blaziken. I don't want to risk it. Melodic is all he has, so both of us have a Toxic Melodic. I know mine is faster because I'm offensive, and well, mine's just faster. We've already established that. So I just need to recover as much as I can and stay in with my Melodic as long as possible, and eventually Toxic should be able to finish him off before I have to bring Blaziken in. So that's the thought process with that one. At the very least, if I can stay in long enough where I'm at like half hit points by the time Toxic is getting up there, I could switch to Blaziken as fodder and reset Melodic's clock. So I definitely have it in the bag now. I'm not quite sure how or where it came from after I totally blew it trading 3 pokes for Sizer when I had great position. But that's the name of the game. That's what happened. That's the downside to playing defense. You have to be so good on every turn, and one mistake, not even necessarily a mistake, but one turn of not perfect play, and you can just totally screw everything over. But I ended up pulling this one out. It was a hell of a match. I am tired of fighting sandstall teams. I'm sure you guys are tired of watching it. But thanks for watching and sticking around while you guys have. Yeah, see, I was just falling asleep. I'm like, really? I'm done of this. But I'll have to catch you guys later. So, peace.